озер, і колосистий лан, і мати знов хова сорочку сина, димить туман, і мати знов хова сорочку сина, димить туман, димить
Ой, на горі два дубки, ой, на горі два дубки, ой, на горі два дубки, та й злися до кубки. Ой, на горі два дубки, та й злися до кубки. Вітер дуба хитає, вітер дуба хитає, вітер дуба хитає, хитає, козаківку питає. Ой, дівчино, чия ти, ой, дівчино, чия ти, ой, дівчино, чия ти, а чи вийдеш гуляти? Ой, дівчино, чия ти, а чи вийдеш гуляти? Ой, не питай, чия я, ой, не питай, чия я, ой, не питай, чия я, вийдеш ти.
Welcome everyone to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated for this morning's liturgy. Gata of atonement, all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 refuges. Buddham Sarnam Gacchami. Buddham Sarnam Gacchami. Dhammam Sarnam Gacchami. Dhammam Sarnam Gacchami. Sangham Sarnam Gacchami. Sangham Sarnam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the Lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offering for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, and may their vows be completely realized. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred, being close to some and distant from others. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. The reading today will be from the Dhammapada, number 10, Violence. All beings tremble before violence. All fear death. All love life. See yourself in others. Then whom can you hurt? What harm can you do? They who seek happiness by hurting those who seek happiness will never find happiness. For your brother and sister are like you. They want to be happy. Never harm them. And when you leave this life, you too will find happiness. Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form. Sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, sensation, path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by Prajna Paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore, that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore, set forth the prajna paramita mantra, set forth this mantra, and proclaim gate gate para, gate parsam, gate bodhisvaha, gate gate para, gate parsam, gate bodhisvaha, gate gate para, gate parsam, gate bodhisvaha. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here and now. Whenever these devoted invocations are set forth, they are perceived and subtly answered. We dedicate their merit to all members of our human family throughout space and time. We especially dedicate their merits to those who suffer as a result of calamity, cruelty, and war. We especially dedicate these merits to Sarah Keir, Cecilia, and our Black Dharma siblings for their current and past history of suffering. We also dedicate those to those whose names we hold in the silence of our heart, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, mahaprajna paramita. Please prepare for Zazen. please stand for Kinhan when you're able. At the sound of the clappers, the first and third rows will turn to the right. The second and fourth rows will turn to the left. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant. We, the Daishin Kokoji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated so you can see the teachers for the Teisho.
Yeah.
Gatha on opening the sutra, the Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered, even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. It's a delight to to be in your presence today. I asked for Ukrainian folk music to welcome us today, and so on, figured out how to make that happen. So it was kind of nice to feel some musical connection, some cultural connection with our Ukrainian friends and family. Obviously, this is a really fucked up moment in so many ways, right? This is just, for many of us, unimaginable. Of course, haven't we gotten used to that by now? You know, who thought we'd see a pandemic? Who thought we'd see so many of the things that we've seen? And the answer would be anyone who studies history. People who studied history, who've paid attention to these cycles that don't precisely repeat, but quite often rhyme with each other through centuries. Clearly longer patterns than the average human lifespan. But what we see is that this is samsara in full expression, clearly. Now the pandemic, we can think of as kind of a natural consequence, perhaps, of being alive, you know, illness and the nature of illness. However, these wars are purely self-inflicted. This is just humanity at its worst. This is unnecessary. And yet, it's banal. I wish I could say otherwise, but it is so common. And yet, to see it in this form, in this day, is shocking. In my role as a professor, teaching largely 20th century history, and for one of the classes I teach, you know, World War I is a big feature. And if you read the exchanges from people of the day, before the war happened, they thought this is impossible. We are all interconnected now. Our economies are interlinked. We have treaties and alliances. Napoleon's day is done. That war is just never going to happen again. And then it did. And the shock of it, like, this can't really be happening. And so every generation that faces this kind of reckless foolishness and violence is somewhat surprised by it, I think. At least it seems that way. So it's very natural that we're a little bit off guard that this has happened. And probably that's because if you look at a longer historical arc, violence is far less common now than it was, say, 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. Still, the sting is no less. The Buddha teaches in this chunk of the Dhammapada called violence, all beings tremble before violence, all fear death, and all beings love life. See yourself in others, then whom can you hurt? This business of identifying with others, of practicing identity exchange. It's in the Dharma, it's not so simple as just on the surface. And the surface is, you know, if we could get that, would be great. If we could just get the surface level, we'd all live in a better world, honestly. They too wish happiness like I wish happiness, therefore we share this. Let us work together to improve our happiness quotient together. Like, why is that so hard? But at the Dharma level, it's even deeper than that. When we actually realize our own true nature, when we actually realize the totality of the truth of our nature, of our true self, then we see that not only are these other beings that we have some commonality with, but in fact, they are us. We are them. You are Putin. How do we work with this? Realizing such a thing. The other day I tried to make some comments for the community about this, and it's a very challenging topic, really, until you realize that when you and they are not two, then how you practice your life is far more impactful than you might think. It's not just, in this case, Putin, his mind scramble doing things. That's definitely happening. But also ours, also yours, your individual, your day. It actually is directly connected with all beings. And this is why the Buddha constantly brings us back, no matter what the situation. And he saw war aplenty in his time. The clan that he was a part of was a small one being gobbled up by other ones, and they're warlords, and it was in his day as well. And everybody then ate organic, and it didn't help, So still war, right? But when we see that our nature and the nature of all beings are the same, and we learn how to take care of ourselves, we are in fact taking care of all beings. This is not selfishness, this is not escapism, this isn't hiding. If you really practice wisely, realize that the sum total of suffering on this planet can be reduced by some amount if you do your work well. If you pull your socks up and keep your feet on the ground and do the dishes and make happiness and kindness with your family and the people that you live with and the people that you engage with. Make this a real priority. This is not a small, incidental, meaningless gesture. It can actually be practicing kindness. And significantly, when you do this, when you engage in the beautiful weather that we have, maybe sooner than we think, the masks will no longer be needed. We'll be able to chant together. We have all these wonderful things to look forward to. An ordination is coming up. A transmission is coming up. A welcome is happening. There's many beautiful things to come, but if we can take them and dedicate those to the people who are in those subways right now with their families, hiding from bombs, you see. In this way, we actually are connecting. And then, yes, do some research about viable ways to help support. There are relief efforts that are credible. There are organizations that could use attention and funding, and voting matters, and all the practical business about being engaged in the world, absolutely. But don't overlook the magic. Don't overlook the mundane. The way that you handle the next frustrating thing that comes your way. And there will be one, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, when it arrives, think to yourself, I can now practice non-violence with my coffee being too cold. or with my pug having peed yet again where he knows not to. Right? Whatever it is, from trite to severe. And if you think about it, if some crazy thing were to happen where the Michiganders were invading Ohio or some, I don't know, or other unlikely scenarios in our world, but if they actually happened and we were those folks who needed to shelter and get our kids to safety, it's the same practice. It's only the circumstances that are different. Even in that moment, I see bodhisattvas arising in those subways. And to be fair, I think a lot of those Russian boys have no idea what they're doing or why, and they would rather be home. But if they say no, perhaps their whole family will be executed. I don't know. So practice now while it's relatively easy, while we can, so that if things become really challenging for us, even more than they have been, you know how to meet that moment well.
Thank you. It was very inspiring. So, personally, I've been pretty glued to the television. Oh,
I think this has to come down a little bit. And let's make sure this is on. Okay, seems...
can I cover this?
Yeah. I can't even reach you because I'm all strapped in here. Thank you.
Thank you. Buddha helped me to remember all my thoughts. I'm afraid they're all flown away as we've been fiddling with this. So, I don't know about you, but I've found it's much harder for me to get my mind to settle down with all of this stuff going on and watching the TV and just so much crazy. So my deep encouragement is to sit some more and actually sit enough that you find, to whatever degree you can, that place of calm abiding in your sitting, where you're preferring the breath over the thoughts just whirling around like crazy town. And as we know, it does happen, right? But here, we need to be very patient with ourselves and very compassionate with ourselves, especially as those crazy town thoughts are whirring around, to let them have a really wide, open field. And no violence, no aggression towards those thoughts, but just preferring the breath and bringing the mind right into the hara, right into the spiritual center, power spot in our body, so that we can contact this ease amongst the chaos, so that we can allow our Buddha nature to shine in this moment. You know, especially when there's so much violence going on, as practitioners, we are vessels of the Dharma. We are vessels of the best hope of humanity. And our job is to practice that. For real. When Rinzin was saying what we do affects the rest of the world, this is really true. Each one of us is that vessel of the Dharma. Each one of us has a little bit of dust in our eyes. Think about all of the twisted karma that's going to come from people encountering so much violence. President Zelensky has been so impressive and so inspiring. I was struck when he said something like President Biden asked if he wanted to be evacuated. And Zelensky said, The battle is here. I need ammunition. I don't need a ride. And there was something so profoundly courageous and brave and bodhisattvic about that statement. And when he said it, I could feel the ki and the energy and the life in me rise up a little bit. And I thought, gosh, that really is a motto for the Zendo. We'll have to kind of revise it a little bit, right? But that energy and that life and that courage and that bravery and that commitment, that's what we're up to, sitting on this cushion. Make no mistake. So I don't know how we could revise it. Let's see. Samsara is here. I need inner resources.
I need the Dharma.
I need the Dharma.
And not escapism.
And not escapism, right? Same thing, same exact impulse, right? Then the other piece that seems to be rolling around my mind is that this war, as terrible as it is and awful, and we want it to end as soon as possible, of course, yet it is showing us the harmony and the solidarity and of so many people rising up and saying no. Think about, like, Rensen's been watching TikTok, and all of these young people in Ukraine are doing these TikTok conversations with people all over the world. And it's like, I would never see that young girl in some country town in Ukraine and be totally inspired by her. So, in a strange way, war brings us closer together. And as much as it brings out the worst of us, it also brings out the best of us. So let's use that ingredient of our life to be inspired in our own practice. Because this is pretty cushy where we are, right? I remember Daido saying that probably Zen wouldn't have come to this country if it hadn't been for World War II. Because, you know, Robert Aiken and a few others, they were prisoners of war. And that's actually where they encountered the Dharma. Especially as Rensen was saying, you know, we are not separate from those Russians and their leader. And the more that we access our own inner peace, our own clarity of mind, our own unconditional love, the more that we can hold them in our hearts. Sending the wish for happiness. Sending the wish for enlightenment. May it be so.
We'll close with this little bit from the reading today. They who seek happiness by hurting those who also seek happiness will never find it. May everyone involved, may all of us find true happiness. May it be so.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Thank you, everyone, for coming today and practicing with us here at the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Are there any announcements? There's a mic over there.
Is it on? Okay, maybe this will be a little easier. One quick announcement. We've decided to not have Tuesday evening practice for the 4 weeks in between the Establishing Your Buddhist Practice class and the beginning of the annual Jukai class, which will be Tuesday nights. So there will not be Tuesday evening practice for the next 4 weeks. Other practices all continue as usual. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jika. I am the coordinator this year for the 2022 Jukai class. So if any of you are interested in Jukai and you have not been in touch with me yet, you can get a hold of me. My email is dharmajika@gmail.com. There's also a Facebook page. You can get in touch with Facebook. Also, Zvise is on Facebook, and she can also guide you there if you can find either one of us. But please get in touch with us. The sign-up sheet for the interviews for Jukai will be coming out probably, I want to say no later than Monday evening, Tuesday morning, around in there, so we can get this going. Thank you.
So, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, we have an ordination of our brother Kaishin. If you haven't responded to the invitation that you got in your email, please do so we have an idea about numbers. And we're hoping things will be a little more relaxed by then. I know Isan has very kindly is organizing the food, so we're hoping we can partake of that. Please sign up. Also, there's beginning instruction tomorrow evening on Zoom at 7. If any of you haven't done that or know people who would like to do it, you can sign up via the temple page on Facebook or just contact me.
So a week after Kaishin's ordination is our spring Ango beginning, and so you will be hearing about Sangha circles. You will be hearing about Sangha circles. Those are small group meetings. You'll be hearing more in the coming weeks, but just a heads up that those are coming up, and we will have hosts and sign up available. And also, could I quickly meet with the liturgy team over here on the Manjushri side after service?
One thing, I'll be out of town, but I believe there is a Shokan workshop next Saturday. Is that correct? Just for Shokan students?
Oh, yes. There is the first Shokan workshop of the year next Saturday, 2 to 5. I believe it will be hybrid here and also hybrid for people who are away. Yes. So Shokan students, Shokan initiates, hope to see you there.
All right, hopefully last one. There's so much going on at the temple right now, so many exciting things, but let's not forget that Sesshin is coming. And so please register for that, because that is the heart of our practice, truly. So those of you who are familiar with it, please go to the registration. If you are missing the link, let me know. If you've never been to a Sesshin and you would like to, please see myself or Zvise, because I'll just direct you to her anyway, but to get set up for doing that for the first time. So please don't forget about that. It's crucial to our practice. Please restore the Zendo.